today we got a little bit of time away from the sun, and we're going to put a little love into the Toro Timecutter 60-inch. It's that time of year for a little annual maintenance, and I might be a little bit behind, but we had a kid, so you can't blame me there. We're going to be changing the oil and the air filter on this, and we'll show you how to do it along the way, and then we'll check our blades and do a little bit additional maintenance along the way. What you're going to need for this is something to catch your oil. So we have a oil pan that drips out into, so I can clean this and reuse it, and then a maintenance kit. The maintenance kit is going to have 3 canisters of oil, the 10W30 full synthetic, just making sure that you have the right oil for this. It also has a little bit of the premium fuel treatment. So the fuel treatment is just going to be, cleaning things up in the gas tank. And throughout the tubing system, we have a new filter and an additional actual filter for the engine. This is just like a gas filter, as well as the oil filter. So I'm not open that up all the way yet because I don't want anything to get in it. And that is all we have with us today. I might have to order some new blades after I have a look at that, but we'll see. So let's get started. We'll choose the easiest one because why not? And that's going to be the actual air filter. So you have on the back here this little cap that, with a little bit of pressure from the back here, it will open up and then expose the air filter for your time cutter. To take it out, all you do is pull from the back a little bit and it will open and pull out. So, show you the difference here. And I haven't actually changed mine in about a year and a half. If you want to save money, you could just reuse this one. The actual external wrap comes off, and you can put it under some water, clean it out. You can also do the same with the filter, but then have to make sure that everything dries out very thoroughly before you actually reuse it. My kit actually came with an extra one, so what I'm going to do is just swap in the new one instead. But to show you the difference, it is very, very dirty in there. If you look at the inside here, you just see like the white versus the dark color from stopping all the debris from coming into your engine, which is good because there's a lot of debris when you're cutting your grass. So to put it back on, it doesn't matter which direction, they're both the same. You can see from the inside. All you do is slip it over the back and push it on in. Make sure that there's a tight, snug fit, and that around the base and the sides there is no room for air or anything to get in there, so any debris to get in. And this is perfect. Check one thing off the list. So next up, we're going to get to our oil, and for that we have our 2.5 quarts of 10W30 full synthetic Toro oil for this. That's what we're going to be doing to replace it. Don't put it in just yet. We have to actually drain it first. To do that, you're going to be removing this tube from the upper fixed position and then routing it down into your drip pan. It's actually pretty nice how Toro has this. It's situated at the bottom, so you don't have to really make much of a mess. It's kind of quick and easy, so it might be a little hard to wiggle it off at first, but that's good. You don't want the oil to be coming out. So let's get to that. A little bit of wiggle room to get it out of its clips. There we go. And now I can pull it down. Well, might have a bruised knuckle from pulling it down, so be careful. But once you get it out, it's nice and easy. Route it around your wires, and it should start pouring. There we go. Then I'm going to open up the oil top so that there's additional pressure letting out all the oil that's in there. Well, we don't have all day to work on this, so we're gonna start our next project while the oil is dripping into the drip pan and preparing us to refill that. So we have the fuel treater, and what we're gonna do is put some in our gas tank directly. The gas tank on the Toro Timecutter 60-inch is actually 3 gallons. And with this, the treatment is 1 ounce per 3 gallons. And you want to use this, you could use this as often as possible as you want, but after a few full tanks, then your engine's back to basically new, in my opinion. So we're just going to do that real quick. 3 ounces. And that is all it takes. Quick 3 ounces to the gas tank, and we're on to our next item on the list. All right, so next on our list is going to be the gas filter, and that is just going to go in line from your gas tank to the tubing out to the engine and prevent any particulates from getting into your engine and wreaking havoc. So ours, you can see, is pretty dirty, and we're going to replace that. So all you're going to need for this is a pair of pliers or some needle nose or something to pull back the actual pin that holds the tube in place onto the tip of this. And also you're going to want to note that on the side it says flow. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, right there. It indicates where the flow direction should be. And you just want to make sure that the flow direction is away from the gas tank towards the engine. So if you pulled it off before, you heard me say that, then that's all you need to know. This is better done with a empty gas tank so that you don't have to worry about putting the wires somewhere. But I'm just gonna put them out of place and we'll be okay. Don't have strong enough fingers to take that off. Oh. All right, and a little bit of gas is in here, no big deal. But, oh my God, look how disgusting it is in there. Ridiculous. That's all right. So, simple as taking it, making sure the flow rate is in the correct direction, plugging that back in, putting the wire back on, putting your wire lock back on, there's that one, and another simple item off the list that's going to make your machine run a lot longer. Now that we've checked off all the additional items, we're going to sit and enjoy our coffee while the rest of the oil drips out. I'm just kidding, no one has time to rest. Let's go on to the next thing and we'll just have a look at our blades. We'll pick this up, and that's also going to help with the emptying of the oil anyway, so let's get to it. So now that you have the oil filter off, we're just going to grab the other one and put it on. Make sure to either put a towel down underneath the underneath the oil filter when you're taking it out, or maybe like cut a half a jar, just so that any of the leakage doesn't actually end up going all over the floor. So just something to think about. So we have our oil filter, and take off the plastic, and then we're going to take a little oil, just touch around the ring here, clean that up. All right, now we're gonna go in and tighten it, basically finger tight. We're not trying to over screw this. All right, that's that. And now our oil filter is in. So we're gonna take that tube that we had dismounted before and we're going to put it back in. So here we go. All right, easy as that. Just gonna clean up this area of the extra oil. Okay, so next we're going to take our 2 quarts of engine oil, and where the dipstick plug is, we're going to add both of those here and then let it sit, check the dipstick, and then if necessary add a little bit from the additional pint. All right, so now you put your 2 quarts of engine oil in, everything's plugged back up. We're gonna let that sit and settle for a bit, and then we'll come back, start it up, let it run for 5-10 minutes, let it get warm. Then we're gonna let it settle again. We'll check the dipstick and make sure that the engine oil is at the proper space. It shows you where full versus add is on the dipstick itself. So we'll look at that. You might have noticed that the color of the new oil is a lot lighter than the old oil. That's just because of how dirty and it was good for a time to change. All right, so now we found that there's a hole in the tire. It's actually visible. There's an old hole. Where'd you go? There it is. So you probably can't see that, but there's a hole right here. And what we're gonna do is plug it and fill the tire with air, and then see if there's any additional ones that we need to take care of. So what you're gonna need is a tire plug kit, and they're about $6 if you go to the store. You might be able to get them online for cheaper, I'm not really sure, but it's better than buying a new tire. So there's 3 main components here. You have, well, 4, I guess. So you have the spiral one, which is going to basically go in and clear the thread so that there's more of a bonding agent between the rubber and the bonding glue. And then this piece is going to help you get your rubber into this hole for the seal. So let's just do it, I guess. Okay, so now that it's in there, I'm going to give it a few turns and go in and out once, twice. That's it. Now my hole is big enough. I should be able to easily get it in and out, but more so this piece right here. All right, so I'm just going to grab one and you're going to squeeze it down. Into this little crimper, and then once you get a little bit in, you can just pull it through. So now it's evenly spaced here, and what you're going to do is open up your sealer. I believe it's open. It's going to add a little bit of glue here just on it, and then on the hole. Then we're going to put that to the side, shove this in. Okay. Holy guac. Holy. There we go. Okay. It's hard to get in at first, but once you get it in so that there's only a little bit sticking out, you're going to rapidly pull it out as fast as possible so it stays in there. See? So now it's in there and we're good to go. We're going to let that settle for a little bit while we move on to our next item. All right, so to loosen the blade, if you're looking at it from the seated position outward, there's a few different blades down here where you're going to want to loosen it. Put a brick or 2 bricks or just 2 pieces of wood in here to to stop the spinning of the blade rotation, and you take your 16 millimeter socket wrench, and you might probably need a breaker bar. So I just have a piece of metal here as my breaker bar in order to separate that strength of it being on. So reach in, put it on. Okay, and then just loosen. Okay, it's loose enough for me to remove that to continue in my hand. So now I'm going to remove these 3 blades because it's a 60 inch, and we'll get back to it. So the sun is coming out, and I wish I chose a little shadier of a spot because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm sweating now. We got all 3 of them off, and what we're going to do now is take a file, and if you have a mechanical file, even better, it'll save you a lot of time. But I'm going to file you can see where it's slanted down, the direction away. I'm going to also put on glasses for this because you don't want any of the metal shavings to blow in your eye or something like that. I'm also going to put gloves on so that when I'm holding this, I don't cut myself. We're in the process of renovation, so we don't actually have our vise set up. So this will have to be as good as it can be with the hand method. So I'll get to that, and then we'll put them back together. I did one edge here, and the goal is to have this nice sharp blade at the very end. So this is going to be super sharp on the grass, and that's in comparison to the opposite side, which you can see very dull. So I have to do that 5 more times, and then we'll put it back together. You definitely want to have your gloves on for the newly sharpened blades. You want to keep your glasses on so that when you're looking up underneath to tighten, none of the metal shards fall down your eyes. These are all good safety tips. They'll save you some trouble in the end. But now we're going to take the same blades, and I'll put a link below in case your blades have a bend in them or are beyond repair, and you can get those. But there are a divot and then a crest. You want to go bolt side up so that the crest is on top. You can also look at it from the standpoint of the blade. The blade angle should be pointing down. So this wants to fit perfectly underneath, and to do so you're going to first finger tighten it and make sure it's in the right spot and lines up before you actually go in and crank it with the socket wrench. Alright, so we put the blades on. We've sharpened all 3. We've changed the oil. We've changed the air filter. We've changed the gas filter. Now the tire that we plugged before has had enough time to sit. What we're going to do is fill up the tire and see if that was the only hole or if we need to handle some more. Now the tire's repaired, it's good to go. While I have everything out here, I'm going to fill them all up. And I'll get some snips to chop this excess. So we filled the oil, we started the 0 turn, and now we've let it sit for 20 minutes. So we're going to check the oil just to see where we are at the fill line. The first time, you just want to wipe that off, put it back in, take it out, and then that's going to be your real number. And we are pretty good. I'm going to add about a half of the pint, and we're done. To recap, we have changed the oil, we changed the oil filter, we changed the air filter, we changed the gas filter, we sharpened all the blades, and added the fuel stabilizer to help with cleaning out the inner workings of the engine. So we're done. Oh, forgot we also filled the tires that were popped. So now it is nice and full. We're gonna put it away and call it a day. So thanks for coming along. Hope this was helpful.